First of all, what the heck is elevator pitch and why do we need to do it? So, what is an elevator pitch? An elevator pitch is a well-thought, meaningful, and repeatedly practiced brief, about 30 to 60 seconds long, overview of who you are, what you offer, and how your partner can benefit from it. Anyone who wants to sell themselves or the product should have an elevator pitch ready to deliver anytime. It's important that your pitch draws interest to continue the conversation. This is your chance to turn your listeners into supporters, team members, or even investors. Hi, I'm Yannick from speakandconquer.com, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to deliver a perfect elevator pitch. So, if you're interested, then jump in. The most common elevator pitch mistakes. Before we talk about what a decent elevator speech is, I'll outline the most common mistakes. Your text isn't clear. My experience in reading both personal motivation letters, helping entrepreneurs in making pitches, and making relevant suggestions has shown that quite often people fail to bring out what's most important and make the text attractive or talk too much. The more incomprehensible your text is and the more general your examples are, the worse the result will be. Your speech sounds like a poem. Don't present your speech as a well-memorized poem. It will never make the right impression. Speak sincerely, add emotions, and show that you believe in every word you say. If you're blunt like fish, you'll never succeed. Investors want to see passion and energy, not the look of a frozen fish. Too fast a pace. The fact that you have little time doesn't mean you have to be in a hurry. Don't forget to make pauses and let your partner think about what you just said. Equally important, don't forget to keep eye contact. If you avoid it, your credibility decreases. Too complicated a text. Avoid all kinds of specialized language or foreign words, and speak in plain language that everybody can understand. In fact, your speech needs to be so clear that even a grandmother who doesn't know anything about your area can understand it immediately. You run out of time before you get to the point. Never ever think that delivering a pitch is easy. On the contrary, 30 seconds is an incredibly short time. So you need to practice and polish your speech at home to be ready to deliver your pitch at any time. Otherwise, you may be in the middle of something when your time runs out. This means the listener will be left with no clear idea of what and why your offer. Main questions your elevator pitch should answer. Here are some important aspects that are identical in both cases. There are just 3 questions that both elevator pitches must answer. Who are you? And why do you do what you do? What do you do? For who? How? And what is the benefit? On which basis can you promise results? Play your evidence. Answer these questions based on the pitches you delivered before and make any changes if needed. Elevator pitch structure. The purpose of an elevator pitch is to describe a situation or solution so compelling that the person you're with wants to hear more even after the elevator ride is over. Seth Godin. A description of the business opportunity or problem to be solved. Think of it as an introduction that should attract attention and interest. That's why it may be the most important part of your pitch, and therefore it requires careful preparation and consideration. Describe some of the current relevant issues and try to relate to the listener in the very beginning. It'll be easier to attract attention and interest. Briefly and clearly indicate what kind of problem your product or service solves, or what business opportunity you are offering to the listener. Ideally, you should be able to clearly describe the problem in 2 or 3 sentences. I've met some startup entrepreneurs who were describing something with zeal, and I was thinking, so what? What's the problem here? The more distracting or trivial this problem or opportunity is, the more likely it is that the listener loses interest. Describe how your product or service solves this problem. Answer the question, what kind of benefit can you offer to the partner or the world? Activities and thoughts are great, but benefits are music to the listener's ears. Many make the mistake of talking about the solution first, but you need to remember that you should start with the description of the problem previously mentioned, and then offer the listener a solution. Here, you should emphasize a unique selling point that clearly distinguishes you from your competitors. The listener should never be left thinking, well, and what is it you do that others do not? Market size and description. Target group introduction. Think about who your services or products are likely to appeal to. The more the listener can relate, the better. The two most important things are the availability of a market opportunity and the entrepreneur or team who are able to recognize this opportunity. Don't try to convince the listener that your offer covers a fair share of the market and is suitable for everyone, as it sounds dubious. Descriptions of competitors. There is always some kind of competition. Even if you come up with an absolutely unique idea, there are people in this world who solve problems in their own tricky ways. If you argue that there's no competition, it'll sound dubious and, moreover, raise a question. Maybe it has already been tried, and it has been found that there's no demand, i.e., there's no competition. So, look at your competitors thoroughly and highlight the things that you do differently. Revealing your achievements, or those of your team. No one wants to buy a pig in a poke, so outline your main achievements, or in their absence, a vision of what you want to achieve. Talk about your experiences and greatest achievements so that the listener can clearly understand what distinguishes you from your competitors. Highlight the most important thing your product or service offers to your customers. Even better if it can be expressed in numbers. However, don't waste your time praising and overpraising. The investor doesn't buy a product, but a company. Investors are the saying, bet on the horseman, not the horse. In addition to the benefits, you must be able to demonstrate what you intend to do with the money. Offer and call to action. You can follow the previous points perfectly, but if you miss the following point, your speech is of no use. Therefore, bring out a clear call to action, which, again, should briefly outline the ways in which the investor and the company can be beneficial to each other. This means you need to emphasize the activity you're most interested in at the moment. For example, invitation to cooperation, phone number exchange, setting up a meeting, business card exchange, etc. Be prepared for the follow-up questions. Your speech may be perfect, but if you fail to answer the follow-up questions, your numbers are confusing, or your unpleasant personality comes out after a polished speech, there's no hope of getting warm advice and support, not to mention funding. Investors often support even the weirdest ideas if you're able to answer their questions and give adequate sales numbers. It should be noted that there are no good or bad responses, except for negative sales numbers when operating for a long time, or a large number of shares already issued. On the other hand, detailed responses give a complete picture of the company and the entrepreneur. Smart and experienced investors read between the lines, even when you're trying to hide something. How to practice your speech. Once your elevator pitch is ready, and it seems that all important parts are in place, it's time to start practicing it. Here are some tips to keep in mind. Use a stopwatch to measure how long your speech is. Our writing speed is 13 words per minute, whereas our speech pace is about 100 to 200 words per minute, and reading speed 200 to 400 words per minute. This means when speaking, you have at least 10 times less time to prepare than when writing. So, once you have your first elevator pitch ready, practice it repeatedly. Speak in a loud voice and use a stopwatch. If you see that the pitch is too long, think about what to leave out. If you notice that the sentencing tends to be too long, change it accordingly. The important thing is that your elevator pitch is smooth and comprehensible. Make your speech in front of someone. It could be a person who is as objective as possible and able to give you constructive feedback. Friends tend to be a little bit more relaxed in these terms. The more comprehensive and relevant feedback you receive, the more it will help you further on. Practice in front of a camera. The fastest way to improve your body language is by reading your presentation and watching it on a big screen. The camera reveals movements and activities that we do unconsciously. Watching yourself for the first time can be scary, but I promise you that the feedback you get is invaluable. If possible, invite a friend or family member to watch with you and let them give feedback. Check how you look on camera and make sure you appear friendly and smiling. Practice speaking standing. Even if you practice your elevator pitch at home, always do it standing. This is how you get used to a situation where you can't hide your trembling body parts from your listeners. In addition, you'll be able to practice what to do with your hands. And most importantly, you appear much more of a role model when standing. Practice when taking the elevator. Whenever you take the elevator, try practicing your elevator pitch while going to the last floor. However, to be able to handle unexpected situations, don't go all the way to the top floor, but stop halfway. This way, you'll know what to leave out in the case of a shorter speech. To sum up, how to make a perfect elevator pitch. Although your speech should be short and striking, don't think that it's a piece of cake. On the contrary, 30 to 60 seconds is a very short time. Therefore, you must practice and polish your speech at home, so that you're ready to deliver it even when caught off guard. Once you go through the elements of the elevator pitch listed in this video and follow my other tips, you'll be very close to delivering an excellent speech. Now, if you find this video helpful, then press thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. Also, before you go, take a look at the next video you see on the screen right now. Meanwhile, take care.